So, welcome to part two of Relationships according to Abraham Hicks. And part two, I broke down into just talking about patterns in our relationships, what causes them, and how to break free of them. So, first, I just want to ask, do you find you keep attracting the same type of problem in your relationships? Most of us are aware of our own patterns, but don't know how to break them. And so today in part two on relationships, I'm going to start by explaining how the relationships came to be a pattern that you currently have. And then I'll talk about Abraham Hicks' principles on patterns and how to break free of them, which is really interesting, and I hope you find it very useful. Because having the need for the condition of the pattern is what's causing our resistance to raising our vibration, getting into our vortex, and accessing, manifesting our ideal relationship. We believe a certain thing about how our life works, and we are attracting that into our relationships. That's the pattern. So uncovering the belief is very helpful. And more importantly, it's about focusing on what you do want to attract. So let's talk about what causes a pattern to exist in the first place. And this is my understanding of it from all the channeling that I've done over the years, and life experience too as well. Why this is important to understand it before we get to the point where we're going to learn how to break free of the pattern. Understanding is the key to it. It's not that we want to focus on the problem, but I do feel that understanding where it came from is going to help us know what to focus on to create the opposite belief. So it's contrast, and Abe talks about different ends of the stick, where it's the thing you want and the thing you don't want. And so that's why we are spending just a little time on what causes the pattern in the first place. I want to give some examples of patterns so you know what we're dealing with here as we learn together. Some examples of patterns that aren't working for you in relationships might be you're attracting someone you like, but they have a fear of commitment. You're attracting someone you like, but they don't like you. You're attracting someone who treats you badly and is disrespecting you, or not caring about you or your feelings, or even abusive. Or you're attracting a great relationship. You've got that going, but it never lasts. Like it's short-lived, and that keeps happening over and over again. It's very frustrating. I understand this. Maybe it always ends at the same length of time. So that's what's making you be aware of the pattern existing. Once I dated a nice gentleman who confessed to me that every time he gets to 3 months into a relationship, he breaks it off. And sure enough, that's what happened with ours. And, you just don't know what someone's going through and why the pattern exists when you meet someone. But it's important to take a look at it and what you're doing to bring that into your life, and also what your partner is doing. Another type of pattern could be that you're attracting someone who is emotionally unavailable. And that could look like someone who is putting work as their first priority and you're coming in second fiddle. Or it could be someone that's married. And, if you're okay with that, then that's fine. But if it's a problem for you, that's what we're talking about. Someone who is not available to you. Sometimes it could be a really far off distant relationship where they're not able to come visit you and be with you. So these are some simple examples of different types of patterns. Okay, now, how are the patterns created? Let's use the example of the pattern of attracting someone who is emotionally unavailable. They don't care about your feelings. They're not able to express their own feelings. They're not good at sharing what's going on in their life, or they have no interest in commitment. So emotionally, they're not there for you. They're not available. Here's what really happens. So when we're young, this is a possibility of one way that it gets started. Let's say we have an experience in childhood, say a father that was not expressive of his love. He was a good provider, but he wasn't able to give you what you needed. And he wasn't able to pay attention to you or praise you, give you a compliment, and never said, I love you, or expressed appreciation for you. So we take on a meaning about how he, in this example, treated us. And this is where it really starts to happen. We take on a meaning from this example of, well, so he wasn't loving me, so this means to me that I'm not lovable. You see how we transfer it to a belief. It is a false belief, but it's a belief that sticks nonetheless. So you may think this means I'm not lovable, or I'm not worthy of being loved, and I don't deserve to have someone's love and affection. You see how it plays? And it's very hurtful. And I don't mean to make light of it. I'm just trying to get to the root of it for us, okay? So that false belief gets stuck in us, and we believe it's true. And then it becomes a very strong, energetic belief, and with the law of attraction, you bet, we're putting out there, I'm not lovable, I'm not worthy, no one finds me deserving of love, I don't deserve it, and you're going to attract someone just like that, who doesn't see you as lovable, or doesn't treat you as lovable, doesn't express it. And we tend to believe when we're growing up that this is how my world is going to work, okay? I'm not lovable, and I expect, is what we're saying to ourselves, I expect that the world's going to treat me as such, as not being lovable, okay? And it sets up the pattern, okay? As we grow up, we start attracting relationships that treat us that way. It may not only be in romance, by the way. It may be with friendships. It may be with coworkers and bosses at the office or in employment. And it will start to show up in order to get our attention. I just feel that the universe is trying to help us say, I've had enough, and I give up, or I give in, or I surrender, and I want to be done with this problem. So when someone treats us as if we're not worthy, it not only hurts, but it becomes proof to us, evidence that our belief is right, that I'm not worthy or I'm not lovable. So it expands on that belief, gets stronger, it strengthens it actually. And so we're going to keep attracting more of the same, like attracts like. And here's something interesting. In a way, it's almost comforting to know we're right, that our belief was true when we get the proof, because it can help us feel like we're at least right about this. Okay, so just being aware of that. So what happens is you keep attracting someone who has that behavior towards you, it hurts, and then that becomes your story, and then you may be invested in telling your story to others, anyone who will listen, and telling it to yourself. So this sucks. This is how the world works for me. Nobody loves me. Kind of a victim consciousness, if you will. And it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. I do believe this pattern continues. The universe is trying to help us clear it out, trying to help us get free of it. And that's when you get to that point where you've had enough, that's when the opportunity to heal it becomes available. Things bubble up to the surface when we're ready to heal them. So maybe that's where you're at now. Maybe that's why the universe brought you to Abraham Hicks. Maybe that's why the universe brought you to watching this video. The universe loves you and wants you to be happy and have all of your heart's desires. So that's how it actually works. So now let's talk about solutions. We understand what causes the problem. What do we do about it? How do we set ourselves free and break the habit, break the pattern? Because we do have the power within us to release the pattern. We have a say. It's not a life sentence. So let's look at what Abe has to say about it. The very first thing Abe mentions, interestingly enough, is to not beat ourselves up about having the pattern. You see how that is beginning the process of self-love and appreciating who we are and acknowledging that we are exactly where we're meant to be. Feel how kind and loving that is? If we weren't given that when we were growing up, say in that example we gave about the father that was emotionally unavailable, then we need to be mindful of our negative self-talk that's always running, and choose positive thoughts. That's why it was so interesting to me that Abe said, first and foremost, stop beating yourself up that you have the pattern, okay? So I hope that's helpful. And Abe says, because you are exactly where you're meant to be. These experiences have been divine. And for your growth, and they were for your having contrast, knowing what you do want, knowing what you don't want. And what you do want goes into your vortex. So when you experience a pattern over and over again, every time, and you don't like it, it's actually automatically sending into your vortex what you do like and what you do desire. So good is coming out of this pattern. It's not, there are blessings in it, actually. And the other thing I wanted to mention that I thought of was one of the blessings in having a pattern, especially one that doesn't work for you, is it can create compassion in you towards other people who have their own stuff, own patterns that aren't working for them. So we become less judgmental because we know what it's like. So there's always good. There's always good in what's going on. And here's what Abe says to say to yourself. I'm going to stop beating up on myself for the pattern I'm in now. And in releasing the condemnation, in its absence, you're going to allow new things in. Isn't that nice and positive? Abe says, if you keep active the noticing of the pattern, with the law of attraction, it keeps the pattern happening. So take your attention off of the pattern. That's the solution. And we'll talk about how. Take your attention off of the pattern in order to break free of the pattern. Okay? Can't keep going around telling everybody about your pattern and how awful it is, because you're going to get more of it. Abe suggests to distract yourself and take your attention off of what's not working. Take it off of the problem. Take it off of what's missing in relationships. And do a positive rampage. At the end of this, part 2, I will do 2 rampages to give you a sense of what we're talking about. It says to trust that all you want is waiting for you in your vortex, and the universe is working to bring it to you and bring you into alignment with it. Then your joy can start today, they say. If you want to increase your attention to things that do feel good, so you train your vibration upwards towards your vortex. Vortex is up here. Your ideal relationship partner is up here. And if we're down here thinking nobody loves me, I'm not worthy, nobody cares about my feelings, we've got to find a way to bring those thoughts more positive, more positive, more positive, slowly but surely. Build a foundation of believing you're lovable to get up to that level of your point of attraction being where your vortex is and your beloved is. I mean, that's what this is all for. There is nothing you can do, be, or have if you choose to feel good and activate the feeling of feeling good. It's really that important, and it may sound simple, but that's the plan. Abe says, your work is to create the good feeling in yourself even before you have the relationship manifest, okay? Vibration first, then manifestation follows, not the other way around. Sometimes we get it backwards when we say, well, when I have this relationship show up, then I will feel good. Switched around. Feel good first, and then the relationship shows up, okay? When you're feeling good, then the universe will match your vibration with the details. The universe will give you never-ending resources to keep that good feeling active in you. So things will start to come across your path. A friend will mention a book. Someone will mention a great YouTube video. Ideas come to you. You hear something on the radio. These are the resources that are unlimited for us, and the ways that the universe is supporting us. It always has our back. So when you start focusing on things that are working for you and ignoring the things that are missing in your life, you begin to develop a vibrational habit, and the universe begins to respond in kind. So you hear that word habit? We started off talking about a pattern that wasn't working for us, and now we're building into creating a habit that helps us feel good. So we have the power within us to do so. And when we do feel good and we create the habit vibrationally, the more things that work well in your life will show up. Like if you're happy, the universe gives you more things to be happy about. If you're feeling good about yourself, the universe gives you more things to feel good about. And one of those things is a loving relationship, because we believe when we're in a loving relationship, we'll feel good. So why not feel good now? That's the key. Okay, so Abe says, here's like a real practical thing that you can do. Take one thing in your life that is working and milk it. It doesn't have to be relationships. It can be something else that is flowing for you and you're confident in and you love about how your life is working. And when they say milk it, they say talk about it. They mean talk about it. Massage it. Make it your dominant thought. And share that with friends. Let that be your story, okay? And then this becomes the basis of what you're going to attract. Like attracts like. This thing is working for me in my life, and you attract more things and even new things that are working for you. Abe says that one thing that's working will start to blossom and into everything working for you. Because everything that is vibrational, Abe says, is emotional. And when you're doing well, watch what happens. People will, friends, family say, well, you seem different. What are you doing? What are you doing differently? What's up? And Abe says, and I just love this, say, I let nothing trouble me. I decided to look for the things that make me feel good, and I talked about it incessantly. Okay, so now we're going to share with you 2 rampages, and I'm really excited about this. The first rampage is about the way you want to feel. It's about feeling good. And this is before the person manifests your wonderful, beloved, loving relationship, loving partner. We want to get into the feeling place, hold it in our heart, and just feel it and daydream about it. And here we go. Remember, manifestation follows vibration. That's why this rampage is important. It raises our vibration. Okay, here we go. What does my relationship feel like? What does that love feel like? It feels like security. It feels like appreciation. It feels like being appreciated. It feels like stability. It feels like respect. It feels like fun. It feels spontaneous. It feels like cleverness. It feels like humor and laughing. It feels like zest. It feels sensual. It feels like being alive. It feels like eagerness. It feels right. It feels like home. It feels like well-being. It feels like comfort. It feels like honoring. It feels like honesty. It feels like allowing. It feels like who I am. It feels like love. It feels like source. And Abe says, do this just for a little while and know that your partner is already on your path. And the last rampage is to raise your vibration and feel good. Here, and listen how it builds. It takes you slowly, step by step. Okay? I'm a nice person. I like to feel good. I'm figuring it out. Source adores me. Feeling good is who I am. I'm making my way. Everything is unfolding. I can't get it wrong. Everything is working out for me. I'm figuring it out as I go along. I'm feeling better every day. I like getting control of my vibrational frequency. I'm finding my way into unconditional love. And there are conditions that I don't like, but I don't have to focus on them. So I distract myself from the details of a condition and focus on the general essence of feeling good. I can find the vibrational alignment of who I am, and then everything will show up. And in the meantime, things are working out, and things are showing up for me. I'm doing better than I'm giving myself credit for. I need to lighten up and give myself a break. My source is flowing to me, and I can let source in. And I can let someone in who really loves me right now. All my love to you.